나도 기호숨기 람기 림비기 돈에다 람냠네 제기 림바데라 나도 그생 기비 신인 된주의 거마 나 지슈거래 되네자다 기비 신이 된주셔도 된자 람의 챙이다 아니 된지 롬의 챙이세디 달라마다 롬이게 되는지 뭐다 챙이 되는지 기슈 되는지 고그래 해야지 어디네자다 지라마딜라 가르고 선다 태바침비 람냠네 림바 아니 자상한 店 두경기 라마 다 랍 초도 규바 라마 다 야쇼들라 안 생기 주다 된 바치 고그래 사지 다 그생한 좀 마칭이 주대 가르스나라 어데 지라바숨지 냠레라 소바데 주차제 되는 마 안시와데 냐워 시와 세되는 마다 어도 쉬어래 지사다 딩인지 라바다 셔라기 라바도 수냠네 어딘 마 지금 그생 로로 주사래 되는 마 다나지바르 되는 마 되슬로셔야 되는 마
Good evening. Last time we came to the chapter on how to rely on a spiritual teacher. There's a spiritual teacher which is indispensable in order for us to engage successfully in the trainings that are shared with practitioners of varying capacities. So in this chapter, it starts with the presentation of the qualities that a spiritual teacher requires, or a Mahayana spiritual teacher in particular. And ideally, a teacher should have the 10 qualities that are listed in the quotation from Ornaments of Mahayana Sutras on page 32. And last week, we did a brief overview of those 10, and looking at the first of those 10 in some detail, that of having a subdued mind or a tamed mind, or as it's translated here, a disciplined mind.
Shiva said Dua Shiva, near Shiva says that Dua said Surumi Lava, Laviking Shiva Kure said that Shiva said Dingy Lava. That did not sit Shiva ni Dedar Labor Jeba Tang. Never JPG, Judo, Jambada, Shishin Timbe, Sim Nadu, Shiverin Epiki, Dingizin Lapa, Java was.
So immediately turning to the text in the published book, it's the top of page 33. Last week we looked at the first quality, which is translated as disciplined. So this is referring to the higher training in ethics. Now we come to the second of the 10 qualities that of calm or serenity, and this is the higher training in concentration. So reading from the text, calm means that having developed the training in concentration, in which based on mindfulness and vigilance with regard to engaging in good behavior and desisting from faulty behavior, the mind abides in a state of inner calm.
Nada, just Jamokan be soon big that Dodikin Nala and do Shiva said that Shiva says your what that Digi Shiva said, city you don't that ma, that Lamrim Jeremichi combating to Dondama kept to Shiva said the Kanishil go or is na, and the other labor, Jeba, neighbor, JP, and Judola, Jambada, Shishin Tempe, said which is nada, and to get. Lopa dorgoya de nyava sede kum bangoya de pa gagoya de kares lepar sede pa lepar cheba sede ngazu nyamsu lengo de kares tambo de niga hagowa cheche dine zadang an juge sim nala ya ji jukto sede jugo de yabo de ngazu nyamlen cheche dine pa si moya de pa panya che jukto se DJ Bala and Jambada Shishin Dinkuri, said Danga Judo Sakars was in that, Dondala Manza Sem, the Ujila Mina, Zich to Nene Dingits in the Manzula Gores, Divanium the Goreja. That the nigger chicken usually pa, some not to Kablia, Namia, Marachipa, Namia, Sim Namia, and the Chandalpa, Yangchine, and the same Udila near Tataji, Lematuba Yabu, some Damatubadi, just a Namia to get the nigger. Nyamenchepala Parshi Chaginza, Desunamedi Gahu and dog said this dog at this dog. Says I did Namedi Doge, you tell her, Zish never things in that new but things never the Jubala, and Karagoris Jamba than Shishin Tengores, Jamba Shishin Tenchisa, Shishin Yi, Semde, Utilization number Shabe Gabla, and the Semdication that Ingudu Midu Sempege, Shishin Pata. Yanwa Yang by the how going to Lamsan Jamba Tenja Pagas and Session never to watch. Then they get Tembe and do Chino Community Gabla, Sem Nando Shiver, Navy Dingin said that. The niggas said in it, Palm. Those combe topian, Ganzapchilia, same the utilization, neighbor you, Chirpa Troy, Gash, some station, neighbor, and things in the Dugres, dating is in Shines, dating is in Lapas, did such, just not Denisi Manzuli Kiavach Kugore, Lamatilla, Denekavach Kugore, said, just as she was said, you don't that Deniki, Jan Shishin, Denji, utilization, never la Brashe, and Namingi. Chasang Gajin, utilization to be things in that Denegi, that share Gasore, Nebigi, that's Lusim Shinjangi, Deve Simbigi, that in the thing is in the Kesomana, Nishine, Sachi, dating is in Labasicore, just not the Dorigan Soyaki, Shiva said, 60 tonality or that.
As we see in the quotation on the previous page from Maitreya's Ornament for the Mahayana Sutras, a spiritual teacher requires these 10 qualities. The first was disciplined, or a tamed or subdued mind, which we looked at last week. Now we come to the second quality, that of calm. So this term translated as calm is calm as in calm abiding. Hence, it refers to the quality of the higher training in concentration. So Lama Tsongkhapa explains this quality of calm by saying, so I'll translate what Geshe said in the order of the Tibetan, so just follow in the English, the order is a little different. So to develop the quality of calm, the teacher requires this quality of calm, the Mahayana teacher requires this quality of calm, which is developed based on mindfulness and vigilance or introspection with regarding to, and it's translated here as engaging in good behavior and desisting from faulty behavior. Normally that's expressed as abandoning non-virtue and cultivating virtue, or engaging in what should be adopted and abandoning what should be avoided. So to do so, by engaging in what should be cultivated or adopted, one uses mindfulness and vigilance. And one continues one's usage of mindfulness and vigilance in order to generate single-pointed concentration. Because, as we know, when we engage in meditation, many distracting thoughts arise, drawing us away from the wholesome minds that we are trying to cultivate. So by relying on mindfulness and introspection, we can slowly strengthen our concentration on the wholesome mind which should be adopted, and in this way slowly develop to the point where we have single-pointed concentration on the object that we are developing, the wholesome object that we are developing, or as it says here, engaging in good behavior. So just to be clear, engaging in good behavior refers to a meditation on cultivating virtuous minds, and desisting from faulty behavior is about abandoning unwholesome ways of thinking, abandoning the afflictions and behavior resulting from the afflictions. So the quality of the teacher that is being developed, that needs to be developed here, is that of single-pointed concentration, which is developed independent on or based on mindfulness and vigilance. And when the pliancy, the comfort, the ease of physical and mental pliancy arises, then that is the sign that single-pointed concentration has been achieved, or calm abiding has been achieved. And that is the second quality for a Mahayana teacher, the quality of calm.
Denegi Kivosum Yalam Yirimba Yamling Rimba Chasan, Ten Tukin Lama de la Shine Yoko Gulatian Gures or the Denervada, Karsne, Tabachimbe Lam Yamling Rimbal, Loma Lavala, and the Chige Yamling Gulakiavala, Shine Tutan Sumo Lavgorua, Shine Tutan Sosogi, Shine Trup Yamno, Yuva in the Ma, Shine Trup Cinema, Laptana Tata Rochunado. Yaji Sosugi, Dashine Trupsi, Sosukulan, Shine Trubi, Yamyo, Denegi, Mena, Jinma, and Jidawashin, Tatachi, Laptuya, Galako Chagua, Dinizada, Dingis in Lavaguri, said Kumzero.
These are qualities that a Mahayana teacher should have developed within themselves, because their role as a Mahayana teacher is to guide their students to develop the varying qualities associated with the trainings of the three types of beings that lead to the attainment of enlightenment, one of which is single point of concentration, calm abiding. So if the teacher, him or herself, has not developed that quality themselves, it won't be possible for them to guide their student to develop this quality which they themselves do not have. Therefore, this is a requirement for a Mahayana teacher.
And today, Signal Shiva, never near Shiva says your water, 16 Mother, never Shiva says Mother, that Geshe the Maya, Jerem Chigi, the Shake never Shiva said, Sik to Donadi, can see Lagos and do sin reason in Ma. Never Shivani, Simles Rumiki, Shinela, Dene, Yandabu, Dönla, Soso de Chepe, Sherepke Laba, Geba was.
The third quality is that of complete peace, and Lama Tsongkhapa explains its meaning in the following way. Complete peace means that based on the shamatha of a supple mind, the training in wisdom has been developed through fine investigation of the meaning of reality.
Tizanda sem lesu rumbi shine setuda deji seyula de yudela tsejido nebe dingin dela da denegi shine dela sem lesu rumbi shine se lesu rumwa sedu sem yudela gaze neba ina ne tugwe denega ganga gine meeting shine tuba se lesu rumwa denegi tsejido ne a직 균내 마토와다 아직 남야 지초주고나 레수 미루와 자기로와다 가제 장도를 마토나 레수로 와서 장도를 배야고 태와로 자기로와다 레수로 되네기 신내들라 지산데 신내들라 되네 시도다 아주게 당보 두스로와도 변의 유대 제지도 내바지 두스네 신내들 되네기 제지도 내제 가제 진내베네 내 투고요 바체 야 되네기 제지도 내베 갑려야 야 제바치 현실업지기 제바 제소나 양파 니마도가 차도하지 용거로와 안다 되네 신에 다 제지도 내바데 되네 바 제지도 내뱅 안에 단셰럽게 삼다지도 파 양장고로와다 장도르제 누드치네 신내라 되네에서 양다베 된라 소소로 제비에서도 양다베 된에서도 인지미지 양다바지다 양다바서 동인데 다음에 발로 고그래데 이데다데데 인지미지 다음에 발로 고고 양다베 된에서도 강 아주 신내디 미세유 제바시 양다고 될야 된들라 안도 도시네 제바 제베 소소로 제베게 안에 제용도 갑라 다 당보지도 안에 제럽대 제베데 딩이제 내마도 바제 야 유дел 제주데 내야 제바지도 제 장자 강삼질이야 안에 도시네 딩이제 유델 제주 내신 병아데 안에 제럽티기 제바제도 안에 강균에 매바 제바 딩이제 제주도 내토바 셰럽티기 야 디단디 유디기 유델라 제주도 내베 딩이제 내서 유델이야 제투겐 네 제투베 되네 도시네 루셈 강함에 신장에 대화지 게 중국에서 되네 기어도 갑라 되네 셰럽텔라 네 개베 셰럽게텔라 안 사동사지 최고래서 지나데 녀월시와세디 다 사동들 고고래서 신내디 안에 유델라 제도게 담배 신장에 대외심배 셰럽텔라 안 셰럽기 라바세 셰럽기 라바세 딜 고고래서 지나데 개외신인 타바침배 개외신 대솔라 라바디 tempo Kugores, the next Lauton Kevas Kugores. Yandaba said in Jimmy Dame Bata Tombani the war made that did the Yadaba said she needed Miss you can't like me in Delian, Javaja Silo Quanatic do so.
So when one has developed shamatha or calm abiding, one has a supple mind, or it's often translated as a serviceable mind, which means that for as long as one wishes to place one's mind on that object, one can do so. One is not swayed by distraction or influenced by distraction. So therefore the mind is serviceable or supple in that it is one can utilize one's mind in meditation as one wishes. So this is the quality of having achieved calm abiding, of having achieved single-pointed concentration. However, single-pointed concentration has a limitation in that whilst it has the quality of being able, this mind can hold its object for as long as the meditator chooses without any wavering, any distraction. As soon as the meditator tries to investigate the object, their single-pointed concentration is lost. So therefore, they need to train a little further. So this is where they're progressing from the second quality, that of calm, to the third quality of complete peace. So calm was the quality of shamatha or calm abiding. Now the meditator, when holding the object with calm abiding, then engages in fine investigation or discerning investigation, so analytical meditation. And as soon as they engage in analytical meditation, the mind is moving, and then the calm abiding is lost. But they keep training the mind further so that they can investigate without losing their calm abiding. And eventually they are able to do that. And that is when they have the union of calm abiding and meditative insight. And that is the quality of the mind of complete peace. So where we see here that the end of the line has been developed through fine investigation of the meaning of reality. So the meaning of reality would normally refer to selflessness, but here in the development of the union of calm abiding and meditative insight, it would be developed in relation to whatever the object of the calm abiding was. So whatever the meditator is holding with calm abiding, it would be in relation to that object of meditation, that they would try to develop the union of calm abiding and meditative insight, which is where they can not only hold the object single-pointedly, but whilst holding it single-pointedly, they can analyze and investigate. That is the union of calm abiding and meditative insight.
Shine Juvelia and Dumpiki as Chiku, Gula Mine, Shine Jup, Shine Dingane, the Gudi let me pick a lot on Tuyamurua, Chisandiniza, Chidan Shine, the Hauson Lamna, Dame Balam, Injimi Dame Balmi, Shine, the Hauson in Gugu Marua. That is shared the Lianchiki and Tawachmiki, Shini, Lam Yamni, Rimba Kishi, share the Kabla, that they capture Shine Dia, Chitame Balmi Shine. Yudi, Damebal, Jidan Shine in Bache, Shineku, Shine Toko Bache, Dian, Damebal, maybe Damebal, maybe Shine. That Dene, and Jidan, Laudon Toko, the Dian, Damebal, maybe Shine, Dingane, you Damebal, maybe, and Laudon, and the Chepa says in the young deputy say, Damebal Pachana, to Sonshavana, Dickens or Dictata Charles or Checkdoa, and to the cousin. Tawachimbe Lam Yamni Rimba Denguza, that the negative to Jalia Dame Namsha, she Jida Dame Piggy, maybe she near Truptang, Dame Balami Piggy, and the Shinating on a Laudon Truptama, Lam Dingu, that the Nichiku said. Jinada, Jidan Shine Toko, the Shine Laudon Toko, Tina Yan Shinedia, Dame Balami Shineda, Dame Balami Laudon to get Toko, Lava, Dinging Labanane, those in Toko, said.
In general, when calm abiding is first attained, it's attained in relation to the object or the object of meditation of a Buddha image. And then the meditator, having achieved calm abiding in relation to the Buddha image, will try to develop their calm abiding into the union of calm abiding and meditative insight in relation to that Buddha image. So at first they'll just be able to hold the Buddha image single-pointedly, but as soon as they move their mind to think about or investigate the Buddha image, they would lose their calm abiding. But through training, they will be able to then be able to both hold the Buddha image with calm abiding, and be able to think about the Buddha image, investigate the Buddha image. And this then is the union of calm abiding meditative insight in relation to a Buddha image. So this is how one generally goes about developing this quality, the quality of the union of calm abiding and meditative insight. And thereafter would apply it to other more advanced meditation objects. Here in our particular context, which is that of the qualities of a Mahayana spiritual teacher, the object isn't a general object such as the Buddha image, but specifically would be that of selflessness. So therefore, we see in the text, Lama Tsongkhapa's explanation, he refers to the training in wisdom, or the higher training in wisdom. This, which means that for the quality of the spiritual teacher to have attained this quality, he or she would be able to meditate on selflessness with the union of calm abiding and meditative insight. So therefore, in this context, the higher training in wisdom has been developed through fine investigation of the meaning of reality, selflessness.
Andadi dinge kasore churinge laba da dinge zin laba shiragi laba sumnyamne dempa chukuri eseje. Da dine ge nyamne tisumgi digiri besen dia digma re chere. Da dedar laba sumgi yudur jebar jebi tobe yende de dempa yenden zamna dembe michogi jisnada laba sumgi nyamnengi yenden de dempa digiri besen dizami digma re esa laba sumgi yudur jebi tobe yenden zamdang dembe micho sidojidan dizami chu mares andigal kargugurесene lungu yenden dayang dengobe ani lungu chuk jebani esura jenadeji adodegi tsinala lungu chukse chorwa de deja lungu chukse di donade mash dusun sungorda
The text continues. However, it is not enough merely to have developed by means of the three trainings the excellent qualities of realization that act to tame the mind. So the taming or the subduing of the mind is attained through the development of the three higher trainings. But that alone is insufficient to be a fully qualified Mahayana spiritual teacher. Further qualities are required. And the text continues. The excellent quality of scriptural knowledge is also needed. So the text says, rich in scriptures, referring to the earlier quotation.
China lungu chuk se de lung di kare la ne lung di ne sum se de ne sum no so ba so lung di ne sum no so ba ande di na le da lung di ne sum de le di na de la so ba di no di na mang wo ro so se de da de ne ge de le ya mang du tyo ba mang bu tyo ba ande tyo ba ge chen bo da nyam yo yo ba ku gu re se ji.
And Lama Tsongkhapa continues then to explain the meaning of rich in scriptures, which means that the three baskets of scripture and so forth have been studied extensively. And here the way to take this word studied, which is literally the word to hear, as in hear, reflect and meditate. So the way to understand studied is not just merely to have learned these texts, but to have practiced them, have put them into practice. In other words, to have cultivated them within. So this needs to be done in relation to the many topics contained within the three baskets.
소소기 주름 야보송 되네 신의 줍 신의 딩안에 하동 줍아 잠지 하동 여바 잠지 되게 말해서 그래서는 되나는 지게 다 두시기 신 근데 저기 개보스미 기보스미 남미 림비게 냠rel이야 안 차상 땡고 보인자 네 개와치말 하다 미고 봐 토야기 되네기 톱 냠rel이 누가 예캔 다 년되다 랑게 람라서 봐 냠렌제 누가 매딩 되잖아 개와치 말 하다 미고 뭐 되게 탑람디게 송고고로와 니나시야지 년뒤에 람 냠렌제 되니기 tum보유엔 되니기 되템발라 년뒤에 람 땡고고로와 니나시다 랑게 람 냠렌이 바치 되바유엔들 랑게 람 돼야다 되네 하나야 젠딜에 온보노와 아니 타바 쳔비기 전주심베 람 냠렌제 림바유엔들야 되술야 장주심베 람지림바 남샤티게 띵고가자 제자다 데네 숨기 냠렌 제가 되네 데네 숨다 지금 소수기 퇴망도 퇴배 된다디게 삼다 유여지다 안디마제 대가주 년뒤에 람지 남샤팀베 산지 송다 디 공제라서 받아 데네게 라제 람 냠렌 템베게 송 데네 전주심베 타바침베 람 냠렌림바 템베 송 안디마세 타바 침베나네 도다 나게 냠는 제 팀백이 유디게 도 차상지 소수기 지가 롭종 제제 퇴비 된 삼다자 하고 같이 고고래 제가 lungu 추바세데 lungu 추바세 내가 가지고 베네 규제라 소설에 가로 고기나 차상 여반이 미디 추부래라 그러와 제가 때 가시는 죽음 지가 받은 주보 책이가 말아 주보세도 그런라 지게 배셔다는데 배 강하면 가서 유나 유디가 현라 로봇체나 제 투에게 누버이딩 주보래라 그러 언디나시 현라 람냠리 림바템바들이야 도당 규다 콩지가데스템바데 디나 고 마노 마추바지 송고바인자 디차사 소수기 냠면 제바다 퇴백이 퇴바제 퇴배된데 되는시 삼바지바지 고고래서 제가 lungu 추바세 고고래 디메나 지 랑지 람지 텐로지 오다딩아 싱메람나 네 제게 안 제는 주투 판도지 제투고 말어 전주심베 람지 텐로지 오다딩아 싱메라나 디하데 고진샬레 펜버주투고 말어 디네자 디니게 다데 기부 간사지 기부 숨기 람일 바름제 치고는 당보 기부 중에 람 랍주들이 바자사 랍고로와 되는 년뒤에 람 랍주에는 대바 랍주도 고파 랍 냠는 제주 되는 마진의 타바침벨 람 냠는 바텐지 냠소 렌주 주도 차사마 랍신고로 랍신발로 소수기 퇴바다 퇴비 된들 바 삼바 공바지 고고로와 되는자다 롱이 추바지 고고레스 룽디 여바지마서 룽구 추바세도 되네게 비게 망부퇴 망부니에 망부에 되는 삼다데 비게 되니지 고고래서야지.
The meaning then of this, to summarize the meaning then of this fourth quality that the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs, is that in addition to having cultivated higher training in ethics, thereafter that of calm abiding and the union of calm abiding and meditative insight. So in addition to all these qualities, the spiritual teacher, because their role as a spiritual teacher is to guide beings in accordance with their own disposition and karmic inclinations, the teacher needs to be rich in scriptures, rich in knowledge, so as to be able to guide a wide variety of beings in accordance with their own individual dispositions. And this is because some students are more inclined to the Thevadan paths of the hero and solitary realizer. Therefore, the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs to be skilled in those paths as well, so that they can guide people whose inclination is to the Theravada, to the hero and solitary realizer paths. The Mahayana spiritual teacher has as their goal to eventually lead each and every being to enlightenment. So therefore they cannot exclude those who have an inclination to the Theravada. Moreover, those who have an inclination to the Bodhisattva paths, The Mahayana spiritual teacher needs to be able to guide them in the cultivation of all the trainings in accordance with the practices that are shared with the beings of the three scopes, so that they can progress towards attaining enlightenment. And moreover, those who have an inclination and are qualified to engage in the training, the practices associated with Tantra, the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs to be able to help them there as well, to guide them there as well. So therefore, a broad education is required. And again, the meaning of education is to have both studied and meditated extensively, cultivated the meaning within themselves of the three baskets. And the reason also why, or furthermore, this particular quality isn't just being learned. It specifically uses the term rich in scriptures. So the purpose for utilizing this word of being rich or wealthy is that, just like in everyday society, for someone to be called rich, it implies they have an abundance of wealth. Without this abundance, they wouldn't be called rich. Moreover, with this abundance, they can bring great benefit to others. They can help a wide variety of beings in many ways. And that is the purpose of a spiritual teacher, to help a wide number of beings in a wide variety of ways. And to be able to do that, the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs an extensive education that has also been cultivated within.
어디 바이와 젠디 삼잠베게 스트로다네 삼다나데 우마베 삼다나데 그래서 우마 ten유발어서 우마베 삼다나데레스 어다 제라마도 되레베고도 순 남녀를 대다레스 두신 마주바제 마노와제 다다시 코랑을 말랍고 인자 디차산 규메나 아니 지게 어디 가리나 가네나 삼베기도 와르신 등이 시 지하고 하고 있는 랍나야지 냠을 지 랍타 다다 레투고 말아 디나신다 텐주에나 도나려야 아지게 미되나 자되세다 가브리엘야 안지 시그널 된 손셔베나 되헬레바 규르시네 된 식 다나신 켈린 마셔가지 된바 규르고야 돼 용고로 봐 장되셔야 돼 장되세네 시그널 봐 라바나 신지 멤버지 Bendigo 어디 온도시네 어제산 대수차산 다 룽구 추바시 되니기 룽 제라마와난 도레바다 셈자와 우마비 룽 되게 도나디기 반 퇴삼제여바 안느냐 되다 란제다 캬바침비 귀다 대수님은 퇴삼제여바 되는 지겐 디네 장도나 녜등이 디네기 야와게 퇴르드 슝디게 퇴제 야와 체시엠바 대지고반다 룽구 추바 차산 룽빼 망부 야천보지 고 소수기 퇴삼제 소수기 냠용 야와 체시바 냠용 요바자 룽구 추바세 제거로 와다 추부를 해야지.
The very wealth or richness that, a very wealth that a Mahayana spiritual teacher requires is this extensive knowledge and integration of that knowledge, so that they can help beings perfectly or as best as they can in accordance with their own karmic dispositions. Because, as mentioned, some will be more inclined to the Tibetan paths of heroes and solitary realizers, others to the bodhisattva paths. So the Mahayana teacher needs to help them in a way that the student will relate to well, in a way that the student will be inspired to transform their mind, abandoning what's non-virtuous, cultivating what is virtuous, and thereby developing paths in their continuum. Moreover, there'll be some on a philosophical level who will be more inclined to one of the varying Buddhist philosophical tenets. So therefore, the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs to be highly educated with a deep understanding of the sutras and commentaries relating to all four of the Buddhist philosophical tenets, Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, and Madhyamaka. All of these sutras and commentaries need to be clear to the Mahayana spiritual teacher so that they can guide students who are more inclined to one presentation or another to thereby develop correct views and so forth, and also to be able to guide them in terms of developing their understanding to help them progress from one view to another subtler view. And to help bring this about, the Mahayana spiritual teacher also needs to have a clear understanding of which sutras and commentaries are interpretive and which are definitive, and why so. So that, again, this will aid them in being able to guide students in accordance with their dispositions, but also to be able to develop them and also to help them progress towards developing the correct view, the highest, most subtle view. And this then is the meaning of being rich in scriptures.
땡행기 기행로 침배 나데네 소소랑의 기부 중요에 남미를 반냠내 림바데 소소 바퇴 되네게 퇴제 냠는제 된지 기부 중이나 타바 침배 남냠내 림비게 되네게 슈디게 퇴선마 제매바이나야 그런기 라비아디 기부 중요에 남미를 반냠내 림바데 랍고자 디다다 랍투구로 그런 걸 디바 기부 중요에 남미를 반냠내 림바데 제바 제데네디 바퇴 되네만 소소게 냠는 제바나 샤리야마 송요드 안라리아딜라 기부 중요에 남르만 냠는 제겐델라 그런 게 다다시 랍투구로와 지다다 다 그런 게다 기부 중이다 침비에 남기 냠는 바디 랍투구로 말바다 지다 되니게다 디나신 기부 중게 그 남냠니 림베게 슈디게 퇴삼제 그런 냠는 제바나 기부 침비에 남기 림베 슈디게 바 퇴삼제 냠는 직제매나야 그런 기부 중게 남니르만 냠는 제겐데 가사 될때 람냠네를 받대된 투구로와 어디 투구래데 다데 등한주 가르치고서는 다데 기부 중요한 람 가사지 기부 중요한 남지르만 냠는데 네 이야기 줘도 되니 그 기부 중게 남지르만 냠는 제주 네 이야기 줘도 되니 기부 챔별 남지르만 냠는 제주셔 두치냐 지게 림바신도 봐 럽정 제행기 기비신시가 대디 기비신시도 기부 중요한 딩다 챔보 차상의 람냠는 때 투근기 긴 희거로와 되네 이제 대소를 키셔야 고구려 해서로와다 베네디나 지금 지바로 랍라시비네 그런 네 지게 센디글라 마시면 안지야 보시면네 그런 안지기 랍건 기르들 안지 장한들이야 그런 안지 다다 랍싱으로와 지나데 긴 지기다 롭루들이야 지상 센디다 지게 바 안지게 예숨라서바다 되네게 센디다 차상로 고고이네 긴 지기 랍 고고이네 긴 차상 신고로와
If a teacher is only skilled in the trainings of a practitioner of initial capacity, then that teacher will only be able to guide beings in the trainings of a practitioner of initial capacity. Those practitioners who are already well developed have given rise to all those qualities. Those students can no longer be guided by this teacher because of the limitations in the teacher's knowledge or skill. Similarly, if a teacher has only trained successfully in this trainings associated with practitioners of initial and intermediate capacity, they can only train students with skills of initial or intermediate capacity. They cannot train students who have those skills already and need further guidance. And as the main focus of a Mahayana spiritual teacher is to guide all beings to enlightenment, it's indispensable they have successfully trained in the practices associated with a practitioner of greatest capacity. But as these practices are based on those which are shared with the practitioner of initial and intermediate capacity, it's therefore should be clear that a practitioner of a Mahayana spiritual teacher should be skilled in the trainings associated with all three scopes. So this is in a way similar to a school teacher. If a school teacher is trained in one field only, that is the only area they can teach their students in. But if they are trained in several subjects, they will be able to teach a wider variety of classes. So this is same in our everyday society, and so too here, especially where guidance from a spiritual teacher comes about in dependence on experience, that has come about in dependence on knowledge.
Ana dini to was and that dini to dini lungu dini to was kure se six and bene dini dedication dini to was as your word. Ale on de teaching. On the Ladwan, on Geshe Thubten Rabten, that Geshe Thubten Rabten got so much land in some regular. And teaching the Lama Jawas, Shebana, Jamleporo, Guajelas, Lauto Lembana, Dembigi, Tamala, Gangapanda, Tiagara Dundo, Gangur, Dumbashi, Sung So was.
Lama Tsongkhapa now quotes from Geshe Thubten. For someone to be called a Mahayana guru, he must generate boundless understanding when he explains, and at the end of his teaching, when he practices, he must demonstrate what is beneficial and directly meaningful.
Teaching Lama Jawa said that in Tabachen Big, give us some Lam Yirin Be Yamnetia, Sanje Yukopal, Chitu, Lama de, Javana, Shebana, and the Chema, Sun Dugala, and Jam Lebar, Ungoajela, said that soon Raptam Jela, Jam Lebar, Catchembo, Catchembo, and the Hako, Dunda Hako, Kugores, Jam Lebar, Goajela, didn't give us Kugores.
A spiritual teacher who can lead beings through all the successive trainings which are required in order to attain enlightenment. So through the trainings shared with beings of initial and intermediate capacity and into those of supreme capacity, a teacher needs to be able to know all of those and have a deep meaning of all of them. The new Sumgi and Yachembolia, Tobacheba, Dunda Hakuach Gores, the Negida, the net society Yogures, the Laudo Limba Nas, Zeduma, Shenpa, Shie, Nyamlen, Shenlia, Nyamlen Jejubi, Laudo Limba, Sidis or Sosugi, Kangashiba, Pashanla, the Sosugi, Lega Chawacheba, the Laudo Limbas or Ma, Shenleba, Dinje, Nyamsulimbi, Kabla, Jimele, Dembigi, Tamala, Gangpena, Sangi, Dembigi. Sanye Dembela, Pando Gantu to Shore, Yam Colgula, the Pando Suda, Ma Sanye Dembasida, Lam Yam Bata Dirua, Ma Con She, Ma Che, She de Gabla She du, Colia, Pemberg, Sanye Dembela, Gang Pembas, Colia, Yamlin Chehegi, Jetubachi, so Gures or Dangele, Surim de Sunyam Dineda, Surim Sunga Dineda, Palabje, Cosurim Sung Shingbache, Shibachana, Tempechavala Pemba, when Surim Sunga, Sung Shingbache, Sumbana, Tempechavala Pemba, Dina Shins, the Dingis and Comia Palab, the Negomba Lava, she called Dingis in Yamlen, Combaina, Dingis, Casu Tempe Pemba, Chesa Sanyi, Dembigi, Tembale. Pemba to Pemba to Gores, and Dimaze Tiger Dundo Ganjua, Jumpashiko, Tiger said the Kudu Coronia, Coron that
년도에 되버지 돈을 두버여 봐제 델리아 타바치미 최견 시에는 반다다 팽겨 말아 태가라서 그런 게 뒤져 그런 게 되바다 돈을 둔바다 매바 강라 매바도 되바 델리아 판도 가르쳐면 니체에 받된 거 그래서 그 태가라 돈도 가지고 가다 가르 판도 여바도 마도 디야고레선 시샤바섬기 콜레범마 판네 판도요 말해서 지금 말해서 세상 태가라 돈도 강교와 된바시 그래서
In the second part of the quotation, and at the end of his teaching, when he practices, he must demonstrate what is beneficial and directly meaningful. What this actually means, because the Tibetan is not so clear. So the meaning of what has been translated here is that the Mahayana spiritual teacher needs to guide their students in how to put into practice what he is teaching them. And to do this, he needs to explain the benefits of the particular topic, and having explained the benefits, how to put it in practice, or how to cultivate it within their minds, how the students can cultivate the training in their minds, and do so in a way that they can relate to, that's in accordance with their own dispositions. So, for example, if the training is in ethics, the teacher needs to be able to explain to them the benefits of being ethical, why one needs to cultivate an ethical restraint, and then explain to them how to cultivate ethical restraint, and do so in a way that they can relate to. Same with concentration and so forth. So, for example, if someone has an inclination to the hero solitary realizer path, so they're interested in the Tibetan teachings, if the spiritual teacher insists on teaching them the Mahayana, then they are not going to be inclined to this. They're not going to be inspired to engage in the trainings of the Mahayana. Hearing about the benefits will not appeal to them because they don't have that disposition. So therefore, the teacher would rather teach them about the benefits of engaging in the Theravada and guide them in how to cultivate those particular trainings within them.
Zoro sung des ane de me na lungri ki tope jang drup che sung so hosa.
Then the fifth quality, one who has understood suchness, refers primarily to someone with special training in wisdom who has realized the selflessness of phenomena or indeed perceived the manifest appearance of suchness. However, even if this is not present, it is said that this criterion is also fulfilled when it is realized through scripture and reasoning.
추기 다음에 또 빅셔랍시오. 추기 다음에 미베셔라 동이 또 동이 또 빅셔랍시오. 대지단 대지 양다베 되나세 양다바세데 다음에 바지자 다음에 바또 빅셔라세 다음에 이제 동이 동반이 거야 말와 제가 대양의 신의주비 유텔의 미미기 양다바세 고열이 세지. 제가 다 개발도 등이 도세데 아니 동반이 또 같이 고거래서 제가 셔르게 라베 개발진 최 다음에 또밤 야나 최게 다음에 또 알람나라 야나 대권한 운도 교와 조송세 대권한 있어 동반이 돼 운도 교와 무슨도 또봐 조티네 송아제 되는 고그래서 지금 송거래 운도 교와스는 무슨도 또봐세죠 운도 교와세데 동반이도 무슨도 봐세되다 잡는 도스치는 고그래서.
And the third quality of a Mahayana spiritual teacher, there it was presented they need to have developed the higher training in wisdom. So this fifth one now is a little different, one who has understood suchness. So here, as the text, as Lama Tsongkhapa clearly states, It refers to a realization of the selflessness of phenomena. So the higher training in wisdom is in relation to selflessness, but selflessness is not necessarily a realization of emptiness. But here when we see selflessness of phenomena, we can understand that it is referring to a realization of emptiness. So the third quality was a realization of selflessness, which may or may not be a realization of emptiness, but this fifth quality necessarily is a realization of emptiness. And the last bit of that first sentence, or indeed perceive the manifest appearance of suchness. This refers to a direct realization of emptiness.
Andila that the Dini Toba say the Tsiki Dunda Delia, Shedi Labe Kabajan, Chugatime Toba, and Chugatime Toba says, when there Tombani Toba said, Delishanan, Guachi, Dini Dog said, Tombani Toba Lagoreje, Yana, and Yana Sidiana, Tombani Toba Zamamba, Tombani Mosun Toba said, you deconani, Mundu Yua, Zorson, Tombani Toba, Mosum Toba, Zoche, Zorson, Zoche. And so in the Sungo essay, dinner question. Dini Doxet, Dundadilla, Chita Tombani Topa Lago Regere. That Tombani Topa and Zodi, Tombani Topa de la Ningura, Topi Chef, Casta Dunji Topa, the Mosum Topa, the Mosum Topa, Zori essay, Zosungo Reche, and that Deconan Young Zor Sundies. Said Tony Mosum Topa, the Zorche. Juna don't use to watch Kugore, the mena don't you to Java, don't you to watch Digore, said the Sigurvada, then the Sungorva on the. She's not the Topa said the Karil Gores in a Kabajan, Damia, Chick, Damia Topa, so don't you to load the last said the Gore Edge. Then the Dinane Yana and the Dinis Lamna Digurzo and the Tombani Onsun Topa to watch Gores, the Menang, Onsun to Menaya, and Lungda Ribe Tope can droop city, don't you see to watch you in a degree essay. Menang, Lungda Ribe Tope can droop city. Chisa Dambo de la Casishep Gelaba Kebach and Sugar Dame Topa, Sedida, the economy Topa said Donala Cargo Gorsene, Tomba to law such the Google Edge. Lapna Jigla, young Geshe Jigla, Carjawarsene, Jamna Dene Jamna degrees. So Tombani Mosun to below the Zoche, so Tom wants to watch Kogres, and Tim Majunda in a Tony Dunju to watch Kogres, or Menang said the Tony wants to watch Menaya, Lunriki Tope and Drup said Lunda Ribera Tene, Tony Dunju to watch in a Digore said, that's about what in a Lunda Ribu to the Jimosum to body, so you Mosum Celarava. The Menang, letting Mosum to body Menayang, and the Gary Lunda Ripaletine, don't you see to pick it, Tony to be Samachina, Digore essay.
Look, this point has two sentences. So looking at the first, one who has understood suchness. So the word suchness means emptiness, here and elsewhere. Suchness is a different Tibetan word, but the meaning is emptiness. So this fifth quality of the teacher refers to a realization of emptiness. And it continues, refers primarily to someone with a special training in wisdom who has realized selflessness of phenomena. Or indeed, so this is two different ways to say the same thing, perceive the manifest appearance of suchness, which means a wisdom directly realizing emptiness. So in the first sentence, it's referring to someone who has directly realized emptiness, just expressing it in two different ways. Then the second sentence, however, even if this is not present, it is said that this criterion is also fulfilled when it is realized through scripture and reasoning. This is where someone has realized emptiness with an inferential valid cognition. So in brief, this fifth quality refers to the quality of a Mahayan spiritual teacher of ideally having a direct realization of emptiness, but an inferential realization of emptiness will suffice.
Tombayi to be Casa Chigi Dame to be Sheriff to Gores at the Sungo Regervada. That Chigi Dame to be Sheriff said in Alola and Niungurua, Tombayi Mosum to be Sheriff, Tony Dunjusul to be Sheriff Niungurua, Dini 니가를 고고래서 니가를 고고래서 딩이 도서야돼 추기 담에 도 비셔럽셔야돼 동반 용어선도 비캔바다 동이 된주스베 도 비셔라 니가를 고고래서 니가 고고마도 양가를 용어선도 지불로고 양가를야 된주스도 지불로고나 지금 말 니가를 고고래서 다 딩이 도서야돼라 동반이 도 비셔럽 추기 담에 도 비셔럽돼라 디나로라 니가 요래서 그러다도나라.
So therefore what's being expressed by Maitreya in the ornaments of Mahayana Sutras is this quality of having understood suchness. This then refers to the wisdom realizing the selfless of phenomena, which is the wisdom realizing emptiness. And this wisdom realizing the selflessness of phenomena, there can be realized on two levels. Ideally, will be the wisdom that's directly realizing emptiness. Otherwise, it will be still suitable if it's the wisdom inferentially realizing emptiness.
나디네 라바스미냠네 덴바 룽규 윤denyu 추바 덴데 동바니 토비기 셰랍 지기 엔귤레 덴바지 있나 데네네 달라마데 다가 자교를 베스네 대한 다다 책 말에 띠가라 가르고 왔으네 아니 룽규 추바치고 그래 가서 그래 윤델 하바치고 그래 해서 대들 양서 대들 룽도다 대양 로마레 멤버다 냠베 미초베 연된 하바지 그디 시드다 대들 룽도다 대양스도 되네게 또베게 라바스미 냠린 안에 룽기 연된 유추바 되네 동반이 또베 셰랍 되네게 연된 여바이나양 안에 로마디에 연된 되네 셰바이는 로마딜란 라바마를 라야스카요 마르바 사발라야 카야마 로마 야르기 주고 마르바제 메반자다 데라 카고서 로마를 하바게 로마레 멤버이나 로마디 연된 체와도 소속이 되는 연된 로마디 딜의 연된 체와지나 로마디 라비아 야게 땅토야 가요 말했어. 단 로마디 단 소속이 강신부 연된 로마디 여대바이나 로마디 라사발라스 가요 말. 로마디 야게 도토야요 말했어. 지금 멤버다 냠베 미쇼. 다 가르고스네 딜을 하고 가지고 그래서 연된 하고 가지고 로마디레 소속 연된 야가신 가지고 그래서 연된 하고 가지고 돼서
These qualities of the spiritual teacher are still not their complete set. Further qualities are required. So coming to the next paragraph. That said, if a teacher has scriptural knowledge and realization, but these are inferior or equal to those of the disciple, that is not enough. Someone with superior qualities is needed. And this is because if the student has more qualities than the teacher, then the role really is already inversed. And if their qualities are the same, development for the student will be greatly limited. So the teacher should have superior qualities. This is then the sixth characteristic of a Mahayana spiritual teacher. They should have superior qualities to the student.
Gabriel Yunden Cho Jine and Loma de Yunde La Yon Sibanyamba Jiba Yonse, Yungurdian Lama di Koron Gang Labgina, Gang Labiagi Yunde di La Havas Kuri. Bene Loma di Da Loma de Lia, Tavachime Lam Yamli Riba, Dongbani, Gorpa Yamling, Tingu Yobena, Da Loma de Dongbani, Dunjus Yudo Bachivena, Da Lama di Dile Pabig, Dongbani Oson Tobachi, Mena, Kolia Mangachi, left to Gurwa. Then in Diagic Denigi. 야 지게 로마딜리아 장주 셈기 냠는 땡고 바체 라마데 동이로지 도메바이나 로마데 동이 도되겐제 데네 장주 셈 지기 냠는 지나 마신 바이나 라마데 동이 도베체네 제나 고 로마데 연데 체로 시야 다야 라마디기 장주 셈이 냠는 림바 땡요도 안 코로나 라마데 공단데딜 연데딜 하바 요바자 데네기 연데 하바 코로나 강롭천 강마니 냠린디 롭제 롭든 제기 단 리림바디 코로나마디레 라마디 연데 하와지고 그래서 그래.
So when it said that the teacher should have superior qualities to the student, this means in the area where the teacher is training the student. It doesn't necessarily mean in each and every single area does the teacher necessarily have to have greater qualities than the student. But in the area where the teacher is teaching, is guiding the student, in that area, it is indispensable that the teacher has higher qualities. So for example, if a student turns to a teacher and requests for guidance in the development of bodhicitta, because they are yet to develop bodhicitta, and the student, though, has already realized emptiness, but now is wanting to develop bodhicitta, their teacher requires a realization of bodhicitta so as to guide their student to develop bodhicitta. But the student is not looking for guidance in emptiness, an understanding of emptiness. So therefore, if the student has realized emptiness but the teacher hasn't, that's okay. The teacher can still be the student's teacher for the cultivation of bodhicitta, even though the student has other qualities that the teacher still lacks. So therefore, the meaning here is of the teacher acquires superior qualities in the area where the teacher is guiding the student.
Gindi Corona Gangala Remote Gindi Yagashin Yore. In a Loma de Liaya, Gindi Yende Yaga Shinzugi, Yapo Shinzo, Yapo Lama Shingo, Gindi Shingo Mate, teach and a Shinzogi to Chane, Yende, Loma de la Lava Marete, Remote Diegi, Corongo Lobsang Dorje, Roa, Chisa Remote Lady, Ticoron Loma de Yagashingo, Yaga, Tilagorwa, Di Duna de Lamna, God Yaga Yoba, the Colo Pandoji, 2 years ago, Carson Code Delia, Shinzola Gugu Marwa, Jesa Shinzola Gomeza, and Shinzola Guyena, the Pajole Pandosha, Yon to Margasm, Pagidi Shinzo Cabarwa, Pandosha Merwa, Dina Janga Zuki, Timbi, Yamajibim, but Timbalamade, and the Hava said, Coronga Gang Laviaki, Lupsendi, Daloma de Luen de Hava, Gure said, Bedina and Jibar Chagdoam. Juna, that you have Juna, that you Gangaya, Chassan, Lobsang Gangitone, Lapa da Yarwada. That Kissim Chassan Tone Mena, Ganglabiagi, and Lobsendile, and the Lapa school is.
Just like if a skilled carpenter wants to learn how to paint, how to become an artist, they would go to a teacher who can teach them to paint. So that teacher has to be a skilled painter, otherwise they cannot take on students to teach them how to become artists. But even though the student of this artist is a great carpenter, a skill that the teacher lacks, they can still have a teacher-student relationship because in the area of training, the teacher is the one who is greatly skilled. So too, in the context of the Mahayana teacher and their student. It's imperative that in the area of guidance, the teacher has superior qualities. That being said, if in general the teacher has superior qualities, so in the area of guidance and many other areas, the teacher has greater qualities, all the better, because there's all the more that teacher can train the student in. But it's imperative, in the particular areas of training, the teacher has superior qualities.
Lama Lama Chicksane Wang Shua, Sosole, Wang Mevaja Lama Shandachine, Wang Shua, Wang Shu. Then Lama Shandadia, Soso Wang Meva de Tade, Sosugits and Wang Shus, Lama Dis and Wang Shu. She's not Penduniga go Garso, G Tone, G Lama Cha, G Tone, G Lama Chaturua. G Chojis and Bene Lama Bene Sound Dubu, Wang Lama Dis and Sound Wang Shubena, and G. Kojig Wang de 或学的那么在所说上的往那是第那么就是我学的呢你个那就平均老老差的了吧어딘데 연구를 받을 수수기 강제 강랑래 라베 연된 파주여바 디자인 수슈 안 파주디기 랑레 연된 수슈라마 디자인 수슈 도시데 지나 팔레 최된 출레 최된 도시는 연구를 받아
Where one does sometimes, what one also does sometimes find is where one teacher will bestow an initiation that they are qualified in to another teacher. And that teacher who now, or that student who has now received that initiation, they may be skilled in a particular deity practice and therefore bestow that initiation on their teacher. So in this way, there's actually a teacher-student relationship between both of them in relation to different deities. The relationship of teacher and student alternates. So the one teacher may give the Guru Samaja initiation to the other. So in the practice of Guru Samaja, the one will be the teacher and the other will be the student. And the one who's received the initiation on Guru Samaja, though, may then bestow the Yamantaka initiation to the student of the Yamantaka practice, who was also, though, the teacher to that person of the Guru Samaja practice. So in this way, you can have a two-way teacher-student relationship.
Dine Rimala can Yendi, Pajo Shinsola can di Loma Chadere, Rimola can Lomadi, Jangal Lomadi, Coral Rimola can Lama Yendigi, and the Shinsola can Yen Charwa. Sina Yendin Chochi Chane, Loma Cha, Chochi Chane, Yen Chad did Pala Sula di Ungurwa, the Chitimpanala Chibarwa.
And just like with the previous illustration with the artist and the carpenter, so whilst the carpenter may be studying a painting from the artist, if the artist comes to hear or learn of the skill of their student, they may well request, oh please, also teach me how skills of carpentry, I'd love to do that. And thereby they can have a relationship at the times, one is the teacher and the other the student, and then this can alternate with the student becoming the teacher to the other.
Then Tsomle, that's on you soon. Tsomle member Tembe Mida Nyam Yursing, Tagar Baba Tembe Sona Ne, So Tembe Damba Top Yurwa, Deja Dabe, So Yur Temperature. Then Turim Never, Shiwata, Sherab Checho, Tembai, So Gain Detena. Then the
text, in the text, Lama Tsongkhapa presents two sutra quotations from the collection of indicative verses. People relying on someone inferior sink. Those relying on one of their peers stay the same. Those who rely on the foremost achieve excellence. Therefore, rely on your superiors. If you rely on any such masters endowed with ethics, complete peace, and extensive superior wisdom, you will even end up ahead of them.
Dine Tagar Baba Tempe Sona Ne said, Tagar said on the Kudu de Sigua, Kudu landed that the Tagar said in the Jibas Gora, Kudu landed that Jibaro Chagar Ordine, Tagar Baba Tempe Sona Ne said, so Jibaro Chitenim, Jangang, Jiba de social harbor member Jiba in the Jibas did the quarter Javan, Sona Nes and Dagara, Sosuke Ganshin, but they'll have what the child Maris, Dagara like the Esores. The Shevan Chibar Sona Nes, 다 조 템베 담바 토버 유루시도 조스 소소레 연된 라바지 템바 있나 안델라 담바 토버 유루 소수기 연된 공부도 두고리 해서 그러다.
The meaning is the same as has just been presented above. So look at the first line, people rely on someone inferior, sink. So if a student is relying on a teacher with qualities that are in general are inferior to what they have, their qualities will decline. And similarly, those relying on one of their peers stay the same. So if one is relying on someone of the similar level as oneself, one will not be pushed or challenged or inspired, and therefore one will stagnate. So what is required is to rely on the foremost. In other words, those with an abundance of qualities. Those are who one should rely on. In that way, one will develop.
Geshe Thubten Rabten 다베 수스라랑게 안에 조 안에 랑레 연데 라바 디게와 디팅고레 에스템버자세.
So therefore, rely on those with qualities superior to your own, because they will be the ones who inspire you and push you to develop your skills.
다데네 어떤아지바 수림 야월 시와 당 세대 수림 연데나 안에 되지 가서 우리 신에다 라도 연데 된바 셰럽 체와 초된바 세드 셰럽게 동방이 또 배셔라데 된바 초데 된바 이 조가인 데데나 데니기 랑레 라베 연된 데니기 라바 연데디까 된바 이나 저외자 조 교르세드 강인데 된바 이나 조외자스 소소의 연된 데니 요베나 랑레 라바 연데 된바는 데레자는 야야기 그래 세드 조이게 체조 교르세드 셰 송소오세.
And this is re-emphasized in the next quotation. If you rely on any such masters endowed with ethics, complete peace, and extensive superior wisdom. Ethics refers to the higher training in ethics, that first quality, that of disciplined, complete peace. This would incorporate calm, so the second and the third quality. So this then refers to the three higher trainings. An extensive superior wisdom we can understand here as the quality of one who has understood suchness, or a realization of emptiness. So relying on such a teacher, one will grow and develop.
아디네 자랑 저기 개위신이 유연된데 되는 여러에서 고거에서 되지다네 태바침비게 남녀림바 기우숨게 남녀림비게 냠르림바 차사 어두세 림이 티두게 태바침비 개위신인데라 유대되는 시스템 바치 고거에서 지금도 도치네 다데 연데 계시기 있다 제비게 도시네 고거에서 손안 들어와 되는 자랑 저기네 당한 주의 나 태바침비게 개보숨이 남기림베 냠는 제발라 태바침비게 위신인다 덴바다 데니게 기회 챙이데 덴바식 태바를 쇼세비게 당한 수수기 데니게 몰람자다 데니게 기회신인디 태발라 때네 수수기 냠는 지지 냠는 탈시 보용을 쇼세비게 당 몰람자래 데니게 아주 삼다디 내가 데니시로와다 데니시 삼다이로와 데니자당 주게다 내가 아주 뒷바들 심지어 탐지게 된다야 안에 고려 동안들 마탄다 탑면도 고려 동안에 타와지기 예장에 고려되바 타와지베기 이 고려비게 가서 기부 드린다 투모 기부 중원다 투모에 남이름 받아 기부 드린다 투모에 남이름 봐 태바치면 남이름 봐 차상을 납제 산요고가 토바지기 선배게 삼로제 삼다나 데니게 냠는 제발라 기회신이 데니게 다 되는 마 송바나신 기회시 생이데 된바제네 지게 네 니제 디자네 최셔 님네 탈심을 용어 쇼세 배당한 주 두시네 말람자다 데니시 삼다들.
The way for us to incorporate what we're having presented here into our own practice is to make the prayers that we, having met a Mahayana, a spiritual teacher who is skilled in the various trainings of practitioners of initial, intermediate, and supreme capacity, that we rely completely and successfully on such a teacher, and thereby develop those self-same qualities that he has attained. And moreover, reflecting on the helplessness of sentient beings bound within the suffering realms of samsara, desperate to be guided to develop the qualities within them, those same qualities that our spiritual teacher has, we develop the determination that may I develop all the qualities of my spiritual teacher, the qualities associated with the trainings that are shared with the practitioner of initial capacity, the trainings that are shared with the practitioner of intermediate capacity, and the trainings that are unique to a practitioner of supreme capacity. May I strive and succeed in developing all these qualities so that I can be a spiritual teacher to those suffering beings and guide them to develop those qualities within them and thereby attain freedom from suffering. So thank you. Then we can conclude therefore tonight. But if you have some questions, there's still a few minutes, so please feel free to ask. Sepa?
I've got one question. Do you need to have at least the quality of calm abiding to have the clairvoyance to know what the student's capacity is or inclination is? Because it might not be. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Does one require calm abiding in order to know the disposition of students? Otherwise, without calm abiding, I guess it's hard to tell. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, ideally we need to develop clairvoyance so that we can know the minds of students and thereby be able to guide them in accordance with their dispositions. But to develop clairvoyance, one needs to develop calm abiding. And so, this is a challenge to do, and therefore it's not definite that this will be achieved. Okay. Then thank you. Oh yeah?
Just a
Sure.
small question. I don't quite understand, I'm not quite sure what the difference between direct realization of emptiness and then this inferential one through scriptures and reasoning. So I mean, I know they're different, but how do you know enough is an inferential realization through scriptures?
So what is the difference between a direct and an inferential realization of emptiness, and how do you know when you have an inferential realization of emptiness? Like that? Okay.
Lung sene yu sanji yu sung di kirwa, da dandala dirwa, nganzu nganzu de du gurwa, de du gavla ya, dinima karsore, chike, nganzu ki pene, mi chingi kiye chi kugurwa, da pene nganzu kiye di hagwa, chi pene, jaro chi poro, miakpe ro chi ne, kiye di kya dunga zu semchen di miakpe ro shasam hagwa yorwa, Then Jadi Goyoshina, or that Paki do Sosugi, the Pin the Shimurushina, Sosugi, is Dawayashi Kidina, Sosukambanal do Chilo, the Waji Gage Gavion de Gala, and Kidi Paki do some big some guru. In a Jadi la Dene, and the Hakuan di Tadilla Dubi, Gumzen, and Dijin Penny do some big some dash or Hawa Shurwa, Di Javaso Chile, Java, Gumzen la Dene. That dinner on the Chilo George and also not making say you toy, Tony, me want some toy, wants toy, wants some toy. That got Jimmy Chin Tungorova. They see Daddy Gurge in the penny do somebody, Mado, Kitty Jimmy Chin Tungo Marwa. There's that Gumsen some Taja, Paguba Hago, Java, Serua. Then part of the also making also a tongue, do not the also that Gumsel the demo, also a tongue, do want some topaz. And dinner him. 我就东北你在当波接把去电竞这话送当新主些，刚是没云层什么的，的东上去的的那些热多啊，什么东上的好过的接把可能好过啊，是吧？但的那个东北的那好过落的，我们有的刚什去了，但的这个的我什么的云层养了对毛吧，我什么的金白起心就我说，但的这个。sem je kiti chilo ngosu dong toa na je di na je ji toa ji ngor wa da di ngan zu ge ha gu ma ko ngosu do han di ho nyam yong to ne ji le du gu wa o du shi ne kya ba shi de wa ji da lung da do ba se lung da gyum chen le de ne do ba de la ha gu wa de la ni je be ne sang yi gi de ne sung yo de ne ge sung de ne re se sung be ge gyum chen de ne ge gyum chen ne je ba ji lung de lung di 短到了把结巴起的短的结巴起呢，这个云层的好过，这个多把的东西多用的东西结巴可能多把些的手了。哎，这说是多看这个好葫芦的，就让别人去的这种，去拍个都是把好葫芦的，好葫芦，俺就看这个好葫芦嘛，等下找我嘛是吧？现在地可能给云层什么的，俺去拍个都是别个。 他去被起码是第一个了，第二个，第那些云层上大结巴去，这样对的那些好活了吧的。
So first to look at the difference between an inferential realization and a direct realization. So inferential means inferred based on reasons. Based on correct reasons. So one comes to, it's an inferential realization, so one comes to a realization that is inferred because it's based on reasons. Whereas a direct realization, one directly realizes something without it needing to be based on reasons. So to give an ordinary example, an example from our everyday life. If, let's say, you have a dog at home, and you hear your dog bark, then you can judge based on where the sound is coming from, where your dog is. But you can't see your dog. It's maybe you can tell, it's in the front of the house, in the back of the house, in another room. You can judge that based on where you're hearing the sound coming from. So this is an inferential realization. You have realized that your dog is here or there based on a reason. And the reason is where that one is their sound, the sound of your dog's bark, and where it's coming from. But it's not a direct realization. It's only when you get up to see what the dog's barking about and you see where the dog is, then you have realized where the dog is. Whereas before, you had come to the correct conclusion, but not through directly realizing, but through using a reason. So this is then the difference between an inferential realization and a direct realization. So with emptiness, then, an inferential realization is necessarily what one first attains. And this is where one realizes emptiness based on the text uses scriptural knowledge and realization. So scriptural knowledge refers to text using and which will include reasons. And based on the reasons, one gains realization. So this is inferential, using many reasons to establish that phenomena are empty of inherent existence. And eventually, through a long process of meditating on emptiness based on reasons, one will come to actual inferential realization. Only thereafter, long thereafter, will one come to a direct realization, where one comes to also realize emptiness, but with no need for reasons. One realizes emptiness directly. And then as to how to know whether you have either an inferential or direct realization, this is difficult to describe and can only be known once you have attained it. So the meditator will know for themselves. It's not something that can be easily communicated or expressed. So you'll know when you realize it, when you get there.
탑지 매발제 추치파 주샤베나 추로추 탑가라 추조 매다샤베나 아주 미니 대대바체 대핀타도 매단거와 아니 간섭지리아드네 랑버든거와 랑버신 치 똑똑똑게 이거와 니가 가서는 추초부 차수하는 거와 추초부에 섬거와 니 추초부에 삼바디 분위기 매당과 김세 강야 랑버든베 김세 된 추코비게 자디 고비 김천 데라 좀 이내기 김천 삼다지 추초부에 섬 니가 하고 거와다 니 추초부 하고 건 세마디 제바래다 가서 김천 삼단 하고 거와 다되는 바 미직디데 도시에 직디파도제 주구드마 추난 바제도 차와도 원의 연구로와 디고스 용어라 디 주구마 추난 주겐디기 초봉원의 무슨 용어라다디 디고스 용어라 무슨 또 가래 이래데 직디기 주구마 주겐디기 그 처부주의 용어디 디나신 초와디 콜 용어 말다 그 차고요 받아 하고 그래 용거 말 진짜 그 제가서의 민이기 니가 당보 두스진 추코 니가 두스 추 초부 차소스 니가 하고 받이 제바세마 하고 다 직디 조진 편이 추라고 주에도 다 사봉원에라디 무슨 용어인데 디무슨 또 말 사봉원 또 말다 라고 추난 마 주도 디 말로 안 돼. 이거 말로 안 돼. 진짜 초봉원 용어 말로 와. 미기 처부에 삼바는 마도 처부디 무슨 용어 말로 와. 무슨 또요 말로 와. 제다다 누구마 주에도 처부 등원에라지 용거 되게 무슨 또 말해. 제다 직디기 처부에 삼바도 무슨 또요 말 직디기 파 주주지도 그 용어도 무슨 또요 무슨 또 말해. 제자 돈이 또 봤으니 김전되나 하고는 용어디 디나시 중국어를 다지 개발하지.
Give another illustration. Two people in the kitchen. There's some water. They've put water in the pot and the lid, and they've turned the gas on. So now they're waiting for the water to boil. Then they hear the sound of the water boiling, and they see steam. So based on the reasons of water in a pot with heat underneath and rising steam and that particular sound, they both give rise to an inferential realization that the water has boiled. Then of the two, one goes nearer, sees the boiling water, still an inferential realization, based on now seeing water boiling and steam and etc. But then they put their fingers in the boiling water and a particular feeling arises inside. Then they have a direct realization that the water has boiled. So the key point of the first realization is that it comes about in dependence on reasons. They know it's boiling based on reasons. And that reason may be they've seen it, or they've heard it, or both. But when you don't need to have any reason, because now you've gained the feeling from having direct realization. That is the difference. When they touch it, they have no need for reason anymore, because they've experienced some pain. So this is a very clear difference between a direct realization and an inferential. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.